In this episode, you'll discover how to make a simple visual aid that will show you when your oar is too deep in the water.
Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be back again. Today, I want to talk about white tape on the oar shaft. Sounds weird, but it isn't. This is one of the wonderful low technology solutions that coaches use to help athletes who are rowing their oars too deep. So before we go any further, here's an oar, and here is a piece of white tape. The tape is some way up the shaft, higher from where the shaft inserts into the spoon, and the position is determined like this. You put the oar into the water so that the top edge is level with the surface of the water, and then you let go of the oar handle. And the oar will bounce up and down a little bit just while you're sitting stationary, and then it will find the right depth. Have someone else sit the boat level so that it's absolutely, the handle is at the correct height for you to hold, and the oar is sitting in the water. Now, different oars have slightly different buoyancy, so you may find that it's a millimeter or two above the surface, depending on which brand of oar you use. But you then need to get somebody reasonably close by, so you need to do this quite close to the dock, to mark exactly where the shaft is. Now, if you're really canny, the way to do this is to keep your oar above the water, push away from the dock, get the boat settled, drop the oar into the water, and then just see where the shaft is wet. You don't want to have a lot of bouncing up and down, because obviously the wetness will then go past the correct point, but that's a really easy way to do it. Take the oar out of the water and then mark the spot, come onto the land, measure it, and then you can transfer that measurement easily to every other oar in your set. So putting white tape on the oar shaft, super easy to do. And then when you're rowing, you can look sideways at your oar, doesn't matter if it's sweep or sculling, and you can see if that white tape is going under the water and where in your rowing stroke it's going under the water, because it might be going under at the catch, and then by half slide, it's at the correct depth, or it might be different places. In order to then correct your rowing, there are some causes of rowing too deep. Usually it is the height of the handle. The athlete holds the handle at an incorrect height that makes the blade go deep. As we've proved, if you let go of the handle and the oar finds its own depth, it sits at the correct depth. And the clever oar manufacturers have worked hard to ensure that modern oar designs are such that they naturally sit at the right depth. So you might just be holding your handle too high, and that might be an oar lock height adjustment that's needed. You might also be lifting your handle too high. There is a phrase, rowing over the barrel. So you put your oar in at the catch and the handle comes up and then it goes down at the finish. So you wash out at the finish and you go too deep in the middle part of the stroke. Generally, because the water is flat, the path of the handle during the power phase is also flat. And so if your handle path is higher or lower, that will affect what's happening at the end of the oar. And sometimes this is caused not so much by the height of the handle, but by what you're doing with your body, particularly at the catch. If you have your arm at a particular height and you put the oar in the water and drive with your legs, it's very easy to keep your arm at the same height. If you take the catch by lifting with your shoulders, as you can see, my arm goes up because my shoulders have risen. So if you shoulder lift at the catch, that might also be something that's worth you looking at for your cause. And the last thing is tension in your hand grip. If you're holding on too tight, it's very hard to feel when the oar is at the correct depth. If you are holding an oar in sweep, your outside hand will have your thumb underneath and the oar sits in the cup of your hand. In sculling, the thumb is on the end of the oar and it's more of a hook of the hand. So your palm actually isn't touching the handle. If your oar handle is tight, particularly your inside hand in sweep, you'll find you can't feel the correct depth. And so you're preventing the oar sitting at the depth that it wants to be at. Some drills that you might want to try in order to try and reprogram yourself to having correct blade depth, in addition to our white tape on the oar shaft. The first one is a little bit counterintuitive, backing down into the catch. So sit stationary, sit at the finish with your oars squared and buried under the water, and you're going to leave your oars under the water the whole time. You're going to do a full recovery with a correct sequence. So push first with your hand, straighten your arms, then lean forwards to rock your body, then bend your knees and come up to maybe half slide. Your oar should be tracking, backing down the water all this time, and then reverse it. Push your legs, swing your back, bend your arms, leave the oar under the water, go back the other way. So you're doing a sort of push and then a pull, and you're going backwards and forwards. Gradually lengthen your slide till you can get right out to full slide with your oars staying at the correct depth as you back down and then as you reverse the movement. This helps you to figure out the handle heights particularly. The other thing is to row in circles. Doesn't matter if you're sweep or sculling, just have one person or one side rowing, and as you row, look out to that side, look for your little bit of white tape, and notice where in the stroke your oar depth needs adjustment, and then work out what to do with your hand in order to row it. If you're doing sculling, the other blade that you're not using, just push it out to the side of the boat so someone else needs to hold the boat steady for you. And so you just focus on one hand. If that's too difficult, have the other hand, but leave that other oar feathered. So that oar is feathered along the surface. If that's too hard, row and just with one oar, and you can just push the other handle down, but it kind of gets in the way in sculling, so you're probably better just to push it out the side of the boat. Another drill that you might want to try is half blade depth rowing. It might sound a little bit strange, but the way you do it is you row normally and you're going to aim to have only half the oar under the water. Quite hard to do. And you have to then really feel how the depth is going, and you need to look and make your movements really, really calculated and very precise and very small movements. And that can help prevent you lifting your handle too high. Now, the amount of power you put on the oar also often affects the depth that you will go. So you might find that you're absolutely fine and your depth is correct at light pressure, but it's when you go to firm pressure that you have the problems. And for this, you might try alternating a stroke at light pressure, a stroke at firm pressure, 2 strokes at firm pressure, 3 strokes at firm pressure. You get the ideas. This is a live stream, Sadis. Nice to see you. Sorry to interrupt myself. So there are some possible drills there that you can use to help correct yourself once you put your little bit of white tape onto the blade. And I hope, like me, you appreciate really low technology solutions, because let's face it, rowing is a complicated and expensive enough sport. So it's kind of nice just to be able to use a little bit of white tape as a means of correcting something that you want to fix for yourself. Till next time, I hope you're rowing us.
We are part of the Rowing Chat Podcast Network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.